Let's talk about your environment today because environment is so important. It's so crucial. And even if you think that you can overcome your environment, which we do, we do, it doesn't mean that it doesn't affect you. Your environment affects your decisions, it affects your mood, it affects your actions, the everything. And a lot of us, we don't realize how much our environment affects us. And sometimes we need to just take a risk and just change our environment. And it can be very daunting and very scary to think about moving, to think about changing your job or changing your apartment or changing the people that you surround yourself with, because that's also part of your environment. Um, you could have this life that everyone thinks is so perfect and everything looks right and everything seems right on the surface, but if you don't have a good relationship and a good understanding, a good feeling, a good sense of energy with your environment. You just, for a long time, I used to work in toxic environments when I used to work at certain jobs. And the amount of energy it took, the draining that it just caused me to have, I couldn't apply that energy to other things. So you really have to think about, what is my environment costing me right now? What is it costing me? It's costing me a lack of focus on what I really want to focus on, because maybe you're focusing on all the negatives of your environment. Maybe you have this feeling of unsafety, which I had to go through a lot. And if you know, then let me know in the comments, because when you feel unsafe in your environment, even if it's not physical, it's just you feel under attack with your psyche. You feel like people are sending you ill intentions. Just that alone is so draining, and you just feel this unsafety. You feel like, I need to leave. I don't belong here. I'm not welcome here. They're going to try to destroy me if I stay here. It's just going to get worse. And once you allow that in, it's like that saying, a boat can't sink unless the water gets inside. So if you allow that negativity to get inside, then it's going to happen to you, and you don't want to be in that situation. A lot of us, we say, yes, we're mentally strong, we can just put up with it. If you're putting up with something every day for years and years and years and years, I really don't believe that as strong as you can be, if you're constantly around that toxic energy, you always have to repel it, and that takes so much energy and takes so much time and effort, and you're really doing yourself a disservice. You could be such a more productive person if you didn't have to go through that process. So it's just, you'll get to where you need to get, but if you have an environment in which you can flourish, in which you don't have to feel like you're living on eggshells, in which you don't have to feel like you're just waiting, anticipating for bad things to happen, and you have this sense of like, I can't relax here, and I can't put my feet up and let my hair down, and just relax. And I felt that. I felt that at jobs where I just, I waited every day, and I just said, well, let me just, keep my head down, feel small. Let me just try to not be noticeable, because then I'm gonna have a target on my back, and I don't want these people to have, to even notice me. I went into work feeling like, don't see me, because I didn't want these people to even affect me with their energy, like not even saying anything or doing anything. I just didn't want to be seen by these negative people, because I knew that no matter what, any kind of relationship with them, any kind of interaction with them is going to be a bad one. And you can sense this with certain people. No matter what, even if you give them everything they want, you yes them, you tell them everything that they want to hear, you bend over backwards, you fit into this box that they want you to be in. No matter what, you're going to suffer in the end of the day, and no interaction is the best interaction. So dealing with like negative coworkers, negative people, energy vampires, the best situation is to always remove yourself if possible, and know that if you feel like the worst is yet to come and like it's never going to get better, that's going to be the reality. Your perception is your reality. So don't think that, oh, they'll leave and then I'll start to feel better. If it's the environment, right? If it's like the negative coworkers, you're always going to look for it. And let me reiterate this, because from my experience, when I had a negative coworker, but I already put this stain on the job and I just hated the environment, even if that one coworker left, I was still in that mental capacity of like, I just don't want to be here. And then as soon as that person left, another person replaced them that was exactly the same or that I had a conflict with. It's because you don't want to be there. You know, you have to look at the signs of the universe that it's sending your way. You know, like maybe if all of these things aren't happening your way, maybe that's a sign you need to take a risk and you need to make a change. And you need to change your environment. So think about this, guys. Let me know in the comments, because changing your environment can be so powerful. And a lot of people, they overlook it. You know, they overlook it. Even if you're living in a home that you've lived in your whole life, but you just feel like it's weighing you down and it's like this cloud over your head of just like, I can't flourish here. I can't flourish here. I have too much trauma, too much baggage. Sometimes you need a clean slate. Even if, let's say you lived in a home where you had a trauma happen to you and you're still living in the home and the trauma left, you know, you're still going to have that association with the home. And that's why sometimes maybe we need to throw out clothing. Maybe we need to throw out, you know, belongings, but also the environment. We need to just have a new environment. Because just the idea of just being in different walls, different floors, you know, because all of that holds energy. And also it holds our perception of that event. It holds everything. So think about this. Think about changing your environment. What is it in your environment right now that even if you paint the walls, even if certain negative people leave, maybe you have a negative roommate, even if they leave, will you still be comfortable there, right? Because for me, a lot of this has to do with my jobs, you know, the jobs that I used to have, not so much about like a roommate or like home or anything, but it kind of goes hand in hand, because a lot of us, we create this story not so much with the person or the event, the negative event or anything. We have this story, and then every time we see it, you know, so like a lot of it is like, for me, when I used to work at these negative jobs, I just couldn't work for anyone in that industry, even because my whole association was to industry, you know, and I already went into it with a bad, you know, feeling of like it's not gonna work, you know. And it is a little bit of a closed-minded way of thinking. And you know, sometimes you can't afford to leave your job. You can't afford to just uproot and just move your, you know, apartment and just leave your apartment, and move. You just can't do that. And sometimes you do need to literally, if not change the environment, but change your whole story. And that is actually, for me, that's actually more difficult, because if you're changing like the superficial stuff, you know, that if you have the opportunity to do it, it's easy, right? But to change your beliefs, to change the way you feel about something, to change, I'm not saying it's impossible, it's so doable, but it's more work. It's definitely more work, you know, to change your whole association, your whole story with whatever it is, you know, the person, the place, the thing. But once you're in a new environment, once you have that fresh air of like, this is a clean slate, this is a new story, I don't have any baggage here, I'm gonna write a new story. It's a blank canvas and it's white, and I can just create it now, and I don't have to bring any sort of baggage into it. And it's such a freeing thing, because then you have not only your mind, but it's more, your day is more spacious. You know, because I actually was spending so much time just armoring myself up to get into work, to prepare, to face this negative energy, where it took so much time and effort and energy, where I didn't have a lot of time for outlets, for painting, for dancing, for things that I love to do, for working on my personal development, for journaling, for traveling, for having fun, for even just living life. Like, it felt like a chore, you know, like to just face that and have to prepare mentally for it. So think about this, guys, and let me know in the comments. Thanks.